the 40 days. What is 40? What is the number 40 in the scriptures? Huh? Right, fasting, 40 days, 40 nights. But what does it do? What does it usually involve? Testing. What about 40 days in the wilderness? I mean, the Exodus, or would you say that was testing? It's testing. 40 is a number of, it's a time for testing. And 40 days is a pretty good testing. That would be a pretty good testing. And I recommend every 6 months to do a 21-day fast, and once a year to do a 40-day fast. Now this is what I do every year. I'm giving you the way I keep this body disciplined. I'm on 14 days already on my 40-day fast. I'm not wasted away yet, am I?
No,
I lost a little bit of, inches here, a little bit, not too much there. I'm still doing pretty good.
When you go on your what time is your fast?
I don't know if I'm going to tell you that. I'll go over that in a minute. Yeah.
Well, when you're on a long fast, do you find it hard to sleep at night? I mean, really.
No. I don't have. I've been on a trip for this. It's my 13th day on my circuit up north. But I usually don't slow down any. When I'm doing it, I'm sleeping good. Again, I'm only fast. I'm not even fasting 5% with the type of fast I'm on. Some of you know what kind of fast I always go on, don't you?
What? Water?
No, it's lemonade.
Just
Lemon water with a little maple syrup or honey in it for some calories. That's what I do for 40 days.
Do you do the cayenne in it?
No, not cayenne. Usually I don't do the cayenne. But anyways, I'm not saying that you've got to do what I do. But what I'm saying is there's different lengths of days of fasting that you can go through. And you can't just do a 40 because you just decide to. Now, if you're called on a fast, then you ought to do it. You're going to be protected. In other words, if it's a called fast from your Creator, and He says, I want you to go on a fast, then He'll take care of you. All right? So I'm talking about the kind of fast that we would decide to do ourselves. To me, it's a discipline. Somebody say, Don, why do you have to do that? I don't have to do it. I want to do it. And just like you, I have to keep my body disciplined, probably even more than you. But see, I only eat one meal a day anyways. So that brings me to the next ultimate goal for fasting, is to get to the place where you're living a fasted life, a fasted lifestyle. In other words, you're always denying your body. You never let your body get everything that it wants or could have. That's a fasting lifestyle. And ultimately, to me, that's the best way to live. In other words, instead of having to fast just to catch up because of the abuses that we've gone through our eating and stuff like that we keep our body disciplined every day. What would it be to fast every day? How could you fast every day the rest of your life? Never eat certain things. Like I'm really. Why is it that we think that we have to eat 3 meals a day?
Because our parents say, you eat in the morning, you eat at night.
All right, because they're starving over in Africa, and you better make sure you clean up your plate.
Right.
All right? But see, we don't need to eat as much as we think we need to eat. And the reason why we think we need to eat so much is because we don't realize that breathing, rest, and water is what we run on. And that's what we need to really work on is disciplining our body to where we never give it everything. In other words, you should always leave the table. You should never leave the table satisfied. If you leave the table satisfied, you've eaten too much. You should never leave the table contented as far as how you feel. Like, boy, I feel full now, I can stop. You should never eat until you're full. Because when you're full, then your body has got too much and it's going to control you. And you know that. You get away from the table full, I mean, you're done. I mean, you might have some things you got to do, but you're done. I mean, you have to push yourself to get through the rest of the day when you do that. Okay? So we need to get to the point where we learn to cut down the amount of eating. In other words, fast the amount of food you're eating. That's a type of fast. Fast how much you're eating at a meal. In other words, learn to stop it or cut it off. It really gives you confidence when you see all of that there left and you can say, oh, I've had enough. My body's got enough to do its thing with, you know. So, you know, I just walk away from that, you know. Boy, it gives confidence when you can do that. You know?
Some people say that if you have an illness, like a degenerative illness, you cannot get enough nutrients if you fast.
Well, what kind of fast you talking about? Water?
Yeah, just
Well, see, we're not talking about just the type of fast. Remember, what's the different types of fast? I won't get this across tonight yet. There's a water fast. There's a veggie fast. There's a juice fast. There's a fruit fast. There's veggies and fruit fast. There's veggies and meat fast. There's a veggie and starch fast. See, we're not talking about not eating anything. I mean, we can do that, but that's not the only kind of fast. So we're not talking about the kind of fast at this point.
But when you do say water fast, that means you don't eat anything. You just drink
Right.
water and that's it.
Exactly right.
And that's not good for some people.
All right. And that's what your point was. And I wasn't saying everybody should go on a water fast. Okay, I haven't said that tonight, have I? Have I ever said that the water fast is all, everybody's got to do that for 1 day, and then everybody's got to do a 3-day water fast, and then everybody's got to go to a 7-day water fast, and then get to a 21-day water fast, and then hit the 40. I've never said that, have I? So there's different kinds of fasts, and I don't know what the one is for you. I do, if I'm counseling you, I will know. See, then I can work with you on it. But I can't say that on this video so that everybody's going to, now everybody, we're going to call this the first church of water fasting. And I'm the pastor. And come to me and I will show you how to go on a water fast for 40 days. And then we'll all go out to Jonesville and do it. See, I'm not trying to get a first assembly of fasting here going. I'm just trying to get some information and education to you because there's different types for different people. And like she says, and that's a good point, not everybody can do certain types of fast. Not everybody can go on even of any of these types of fasts on a 7-day or 14. And a lot of the reason for not fasting at all is fear. And there's a lot of people that have grown up with fear of not eating. In fact, a lot of our parents that went through the depression, boy, that's just stuck in there. I remember my mom, she always hoard stuff, you know, in case there was another depression. And she's always saying, now fatten up real good now, you know? And so there's that, and I can understand that. I'm not putting people down like that because that was a tough thing to go through. But we need to understand that that's not a healthy attitude. We do need to be conservative, but there's a lot of fear when it comes to not eating. You know, eating especially solid foods. You know, some people, just on liquids, you're just going to waste away, as though those solids that are in the food are going to somehow attach themselves to me and become a part of me. I mean, when you eat meat, does that cow start replacing your cells? You'd start looking like a cow if that was true. Isn't that right? Or a chicken. You know, if we see, the body has to break that down and pull out the nutrients and then put it back together so it looks like you. And all that solid stuff goes right on out the colon. So when you're fasting on liquids, you're not fasting any nutrition. See, try to understand there's a difference between fasting food and fasting nutrition. And when you're fasting except for a water fast, you're not fasting nutrition. All the other fasts are giving you more nutrition with less work than if you ate the foods that had that nutrition in it. All right? But see, we got in our mind that if we are going to put something that sticks to the ribs, or the hips, mostly what it does is put some padding on us, it's because we're not cleaning out the foods after we're digesting them and pulling the goodies out. We're not able to get that extra bulk that we're getting that nutrition out of. We're not able to get it out of our body quick enough, and so it's becoming a part of our weight. Because the body never uses the fiber and things like that, the bulk, the solid part of the food that we eat anyways. It don't use that. That just carries it into our digestive system, and the purpose of the digestive system is to break it down so we can get those out. If we didn't have the digestive system, the only other way we could do it, we just going to stick the food in our hand and hang on to it until it digests. How about that? You know? And then as soon as it absorbs all the nutrients, then we just wash our hands. How about that? You say, well, what's alternative? This is a beautiful system, the way it works. But fasting is not denying yourself nutrition. But even if it was, you could fast 40 days before you got hungry. If it was just a water fast, you shouldn't be hungry until 40 days. Shouldn't be. But if your body's not in good health and you're low in reserves, then you shouldn't go on a water fast because you haven't got enough to last you 40 days. But you still shouldn't be hungry. But you're hungry for air after about 3 minutes, aren't you? 2 minutes maybe? How about 1 minute? You're hungry for rest if you miss one night of rest, right? Maybe 2. And you'll get some water. You know, you can get pretty hungry for water pretty quick. But foods, it shouldn't be that way. So again, the fasting that we're doing is we're not really fasting nutrition. We're just simply fasting the processing of the foods. And we're fasting mainly the foods that require the most time and energy to both digest and eliminate what's left over after you digest it, which is your meats and nuts and cheese and eggs and bread and potatoes and beans and dried beans and cereals. See, those are the types of foods, the groups of foods that require the most work in digesting and eliminating what's left over after you digest them. So those are the types of foods we definitely want to learn how to fast. So then our body has more, can use more of its energy for doing some of this other cleansing that it needs to do. Okay? So we have a 1-day fast a week, 3-day fast every quarter or every month, and a 21 days good every 6 months, and a 40-day work up to it is good for every year. If you really want to get your body disciplined and trained, you should be able to do those things. And again, I'm not saying fasting nutrition, because it's only 5% of your energy, but except for the water fast, you're still going to be getting a lot of nutrition on juice and veggie fast, or just an all fruit fast. You're going to get plenty of nutrition. So you're not really fasting, but maybe 2% of your food during the time that you're on those types of fasts.
What types of food did you say is best to leave off? The ones do without meat and beans?
Yeah, the grains, the starches, grains, and proteins are the ones that we want to try to fast the most. We should be learning to fast those the most. And then I was getting to the fasting lifestyle. Some of you have a very hectic lifestyle. You're busy. You're on the go all the time. And you don't have time to eat right. You're eating on the run. You don't have time to chew your foods well. You're so busy. You're thinking. You're doing everything while you're trying to eat. And what you're doing is you're wasting that time and you're wasting that food, because if you don't chew it good and mix it good with the saliva, it doesn't analyze it to tell the digestive system what to do with it. And it's just going to sit there and ferment, just like leaving your food sitting on the table all day or something. It's going to do the same thing in you. So you want to, if you're in a really busy lifestyle, you can get enough nutrition in one meal. Your best meal is between 12 and 2. That's the best time for a good meal. And you can get all the nutrition you need for a day in that meal. And then you could have some fruit in the morning, and you could even have a little bit of fruit in the evening later on if you wanted to, just to give you some extra calories. But to me, that is the ultimate fasting lifestyle. And you know, there is absolutely no reason for eating 3 meals a day. Your body does not need that much nutrition. It doesn't have the time to process that much food. See, if you understand how long it takes to break these foods down and get the goodies out, you would see that very easily, that you just can't eat a big breakfast and a big lunch and big supper, because breakfast is going to be there when you put the lunch in. It's going to still be in there, and lunch is going to be there, and here comes supper, and you just put 3 layers of food in your stomach that you're going to be working on all night, and then you don't get your rest. And that's if you're just on the Bahamas somewhere and you have nothing to do but just lay around, you probably could, if you have a fairly good digestive system, you could probably handle 3 meals a day.
You mean even if you're asleep, your body wouldn't be resting?
Right. You'll be unconscious, pretty well drugged with all that food in there.
How long does it take you to digest a meal?
Well, meat takes 4 hours if you eat it before 2. It takes 8 hours if you eat it 5 or 6. 10 hours if it's after 7. Your grains generally take about 2 to 3 hours, usually about 3 hours. Your non-starchy veggies, which is your cucumbers and things like that, take about 2 hours, sometimes 1 to 2 hours. Your fruits only take about a half an hour. So that's what you have to keep in mind as far as your schedule of eating in a day. And see, a lot of times we're eating too much, and we need to fast. As I was getting to before, we need to fast the amount of foods we eat every day. A lot of times we'll do real good through the week, but then we crash on the weekend. You know, we've been working hard, And, you know, it's really been push, and so we deserve a break, right? So how are we going to reward ourselves? Who are you rewarding when you just pig out on the weekends to pat yourself on the back for the good job during the week? See, what we're doing is we're abusing our body. The body's not happy about that situation. So what we're doing is we're using something that causes us to have to take the whole next week just to catch up from that weekend. In other words, we almost have to fast that whole next week to catch up for a real overload on the weekend. And so, again, it throws the body out of rhythm. And it takes a while to get it back in rhythm when we do that. Now, it doesn't hurt to have some fun once in a while. Just go out and have a ball, you know? Even have a pizza. Try to get it before 2, though. But as long as the next day you get right back to the basics. But see, if you do that back to back, then it's tougher to get started again. Because you give the body a foothold with too much in there, it keeps wanting more. Give me more. Hey, that's good. Let's get some more. Don't stop now. Come on, come on, come on. And you always got some nice friends that'll help you out. Yeah, let's go do some more. Oh, come on, you can do it one time, can't you? Oh, come on, don't be such a killjoy. Especially when the relatives come. Oh, it's good to see everybody. Can't find anything to do or talk about, so let's go eat. You know? No, I'm not talking about you. It's just some of my experience. You know, you probably don't have any of those types of situations. But anyways, that's some of the things I've run into in the past. And one example of that is we'd always take the kids, this is when they're young, take the kids home to the relatives. And boy, we just have a rough time, you know, because it took us a couple of weeks after we got back just to get them cleaned out, you know. But, you know, they'd come out, oh, Don, let me fatten your kids up a little bit. They just look, oh, they need to get more, you know. And you know, they get it fattened up all right. But we're using food, and our attitude's good. We've used food to bless one another and to, you know, kind of show that we really love you and appreciate you. We do food, don't we? We want to really tell someone we love them. Let me take you out and let's go eat, right? And we kind of used food as our fellowship. It's replaced our fellowship. And so I'm recommending that especially our churches begin to, instead of potlucks, that they come and they put in the news bulletin and everything, we're coming for fellowship. And we're going to come together and breathe together and have fellowship. We're all going to just stretch and just have some good breathing.
Nobody comes.
Or I want you to bring your favorite water, you know, or your favorite herbal tea or something. And we're going to come and have some good fellowship together around our herbal teas. Or we're going to have a fruit feast. Come, we're coming for fellowship, and we're going to have a fruit feast. Everybody brings some fruit, and we're just going to love on one another and have some fruit.
Won't nobody come.
You know? But see, that's really, if we really loved one another and cared about our bodies, that's the kind of fellowships we have. Because once you've eaten all that potluck, it's lucky that you get out of that. You know, because you don't want to offend anybody, and so you take a little bit of everything. I mean, you got so many combinations on there. You know, that's dynamite going through there. You know, and besides, you don't feel too much like fellowshipping after that. Anyways, you feel like going to sleep. You know, but it's kind of a good way to get away from it, and so on and so forth. But things like that, we need to have more fasting fellowships in our churches. We really do. We should be the example. If anybody should be example to the world, believers should be examples, because we're the ones that should have these bodies more disciplined than anybody else. You know? And and so sometimes, you know, maybe we need to think about that a little bit. Look at that a little bit, you know?
Bible, gluttony is listed in the same sentence with drunkenness.
Sure is. So when is eating too much gluttony? When does your eating become gluttony? And how much? When are you becoming drunk with food?
When you're full.
When you're full. Right, when you're falling asleep, when you're getting sleepy. When you're full. See, a lot of people don't know that they're gluttons because they're eating too much. I think it's bordering on gluttony, eating too many meals. Now, I'm not going to make a religion the first religion of eating one meal a day. Okay? This is the first assembly of people that eat only one meal a day. Everybody wants to make a religion out of everything, you know? I mean, that's where I'm at, and that's because of my lifestyle. That is the way I can keep my body disciplined and under control and fed well and getting the nutrition that it needs. But I do know that we need to be thinking about some of those things, and it might be different for you. 2 meals might be good for you. Maybe you can discipline yourself to eat 3 little meals. You know? But I think one of the purposes of fasting, the most important purpose of fasting, is getting in control of your body. Knowing what it needs and giving it to it, and not giving it any more than that. Not using your body as an entertainment. Using food going into your body as entertainment. Eating is not entertainment. It never was designed to be that. Not that we shouldn't enjoy eating. We should enjoy eating what we're eating. And I'm not against it being a pleasure to eat. Okay? Because why would our Creator give it to us if it wasn't something He wanted to bless us with and wanted us to enjoy? You know? But it shouldn't become something that we are using to be our entertainment. Because what we end up doing is becoming glutton, or we just overload the body and it just begins to break down on us because of that. That 5% that we're talking about fasting is the main reason why we're so sick and diseased, is that 5%. Now we have polluted air and polluted water, and they add to the problem. But we can get some better water, and we can get some better, clean up our air and things like that.